So last week we got the Caprice stripped down basically. This week it's time to start cutting. I'm going to start with the pillars, cut them out, cut the roof off. After I do that, I'll pull the windows. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save the back or front window. I'll try. But once this top's off is when the big fun begins. We get to start cutting like quarters, and I got to pull the trunk lid still. But yeah, first thing I got to do today though, this is a pile of garbage. I got to get it out. I want to take all the doors out over to this side of the garage, get it out of my way, because I'm getting a little claustrophobic. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, anyway, getting a little too junk piled up. This headliner's about perfect. It has one spot in it. I'm going to take it over to the storage side. But, yep, we're moving right along here. Please like, share, subscribe. You can also follow me on TikTok, same name. But, first things first, let's get the garbage out of here. Let's get this top cut off. There is no turning back now. I mean, technically you could turn back, but it would be stupid. Anyway, cut the pillars out, cut the roof off. I'm going to get these windows out here next. I don't know how them back went. I'm pretty sure those are urethaned in. Oh yeah, they're definitely urethaned in. Front window is... I don't know if the front window's urethaned in or not. I don't feel any urethane. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to save those. Just going to have to sawzall right through there, all the way around. That'll probably be a cutoff wheel actually through the front. But same with the back window. I'll have to that through there. Which once I get these out, it'll be here. Then I'll go straight to, well, actually, probably go straight to right here on both sides. And then that whole piece will come off. I need to get that trunk lid off real quick. And I'll have to, let's see here, if I come through that way to the corner, I'll have to come probably up this way or something. Because this will still be attached to that back window. So I'll have to figure that out. I don't want to bust it. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't. Not that I'm trying to save it, like, superly, but I know that it's a mess. I don't want to be sitting here cleaning up glass all day. So, yeah, okay, let's move on now. But, yeah, let's pull these back windows out. I think I'm going to take a break. I am a little cold and sweating at the same time because cutting. I hate using a Sawzall. Bought them blades yesterday. Again, they're cheap blades and they suck. I should have just bought one carbide tooth blade from like Diablo or something, or Linux. And I mean, I would have still, I could cut this probably the whole car up with that. So, yeah, but as I'm saying, I'm excited to get to the point where this section is gone and it's like fully open through. That's where I'm excited to get to. Which, hopefully I can get to that today. Yeah, as I said though, there's a lot back here that's attached still. I mean, I probably could come from that hole right there in the back, straight forward, down to here, that all the way across, same spot. But then this piece right here would be very heavy. But I can probably get Dad to help me, so. Break time. So I got the back windows out. That was actually kind of hard to get them out. This urethane has become, you know, stone. But now I've got it marked. I'm going to cut here, through here. I should do away with that on both sides. But first I'm going to get in here. I'm going to take out this center rib, go up this way, then come through here. Then I'll try to reach my sawzall back in this hole and come this way. And at that point, this package tray or speaker tray, whatever you want to call it, should be able to move out with the glass. But once I get that cut, this should all come in one piece. Then this back window, this part, and the package / speaker tray all in one unit right out. So good. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so got it cut free now. I'm going to have Dad come out here with a pair of his gloves. We'll lift it off, we'll take it outside and put it on the table to be scrapped. What's up, pup? What are you doing, huh? I know, they don't take care of you. Sharp. Watch it, it's sharp. But yeah, we'll get that thing out of here and I'll start cutting down quarters. It's coming apart relatively quick, probably because I know every bit of this car. So let's get it out of here. Get this off and start cutting quarters. Now it's topless. Love it. I'm getting more excited as I do it because only thing I'm envisioning right now is the time when I get to put the body on it, okay? But what was really funny is as I'm cutting this stuff off, like when I was leaning over into the trunk, I was like, why does this trunk seem like it's so high? Well, it's because as I'm taking the weight off of it, the suspension's unloading. Like, you couldn't see all that tire before, now you can, man. There is a ton of weight on these things. The big windows, the heavy doors. Yeah, so as I'm cutting it, it's just lightening up and lifting up, which is good and bad at the same time, just for the simple fact that I'm not sure how much the travel all weighs, which I'm pretty sure it's heavy. But once it's on, is it going to tuck or is it still going to be high? If it's high, no big deal. I can get drop springs. They sell them for these. These are 4 coils on here. It's all, you know, basically independent, but not independent. It's like, it's IRS, but not, because it's a straight axle, but it's independent control arm. There's no leafs. It's on springs and shocks. So it's kinda, but not really. That would be so cool to have independent IRS like Corvette stuff on here. That'd be insane. But I'm not gonna do it. I've always wanted to do it to an S10 because I was a big mini trucking guy. I never really got to build one. I always wanted to build one. And I'm still sort of looking for that, you know. I want to do it. But anyway, yeah. Now we can start cutting quarters, which will come right through here. And on this one, I'll probably just come down through here to where I don't cut this hinge up. I don't understand why it won't come out. It don't make any sense why it don't come out. But, okay. It is what it is. I think I know why it don't come out now. The block, the stopper, I think is stopping it from opening all the way and flipping out. But, whatever. We'll cut it down through here. I'll cut this with a cutoff wheel down to about here. Then I'll sawzall this back off to, well, I guess I just got to cut right here. And then from that point, I'll pull my wires out for my tail lights and my fuel pump. That is all one. So, have to keep them. And I'll cut straight down through here. And once I get to this point, I'll have to cut the floor. So, no big deal. but I'm having fun right now. This is a ball to me, just because I know this car, and I'm thinking of how it's going to be on the Travelall. It's going to be sick. Now, the one thing I wasn't really thinking about when I decided to do this was this hump. I'm not really worried about it. Oh well, it's going to have a hump there. Big whoop. I can mold this into the sides of the Travelall. I don't know how wide it is. It could be here. It could be here. It could be out here. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we go put the body on. But I'm going to take my time and I'm going to drill out all these spot welds on here and here. Cut here and pull that off piece by piece to make it nice and clean. Because again, I am putting 4 buckets in this. I was sort of hoping to put 4 adjustable buckets, but these back seats won't be adjustable. So let's get back to cutting. So I'm about to share one big secret you really need to know when you start a body swap. When you're cutting that body off, don't get bimetal blades. This is Avanti Pro from Switzerland, okay? And you can see what it cuts right there, if it'll zoom in on it. I don't think it will. But anyway, it cuts 3/32 to 5/16. I've broken 2 of these already because they suck. What I went and got was probably the one Sawzall blade that'll finish this entire project right here. Not because of who it's made by, but this cuts, what is it? It's 3/16 to 1/2 inch. But the carbide teeth are the winners. Torch blade, yep. This right here will cut up the rest of this car. These blades, it don't matter who they're made by, as long as they're carbide teeth, they are thicker. Look at this. I don't, you won't be able to see it, but see how thin that is? These are almost double as thick. These things right here will destroy any. This is actually a Milwaukee, just in case you want to know. 6-inch carbide teeth. This is 14 bucks, this one blade. These at my local nut and bolt store are $3 a piece, and they suck. It don't matter what brand they are. I break them size ones all the time. These ones are killer. But buy these. Buy carbide teeth, thick metal blades. It will lay waste to this stuff. But I'm going to start cutting this, cut that off, pull everything off here, and start working my way back. I probably need to, yeah, I got wiring on this side. I'll probably start on that side then, because I'll have to go under, figure out what these wires go to, which I have no clue what they go to right now. Actually, now that I think about it, I know what they go to. They probably go to the bombs. Yeah, these have rear impact bombs on them that shoot backwards. So, anywho, we'll start over there, get that side pretty much cut off. But let's get busy. So what I gotta do now is I'm gonna cut this back off, but I gotta be real careful where that center hump is. That's actually my filler neck. Now I don't exactly know how I'm going to do the one on the Travelall. 2 options are to make something sort of like this that's gonna sit flat on the outside, or put a harder bend in it, cut this out, make it flat, and then put like a motorcycle tank fill spout in it, which is cool either way. But got to get this off first. No big deal. Slice, then, you know, easy slice around through there. At that point, I can pull my back bumper off. I could have did that before, but I just like don't want to. I wanted to do it after I get everything out of the way, so it's easier. But I'll get that off. Then I'm going to start coming up through here and cutting this stuff pretty close to this point. Again, I'm going to try to save this lip just in case this lip actually fits flat on the inside of the travel, which would be amazing. It won't, but I'm just saying, just in case. But yeah, that's what we're working on right now. So after the lot of work I did last night, we're going to start up there now. I'm going to pull this dash pad. Well, it's not a pad anymore. I fiberglassed it, but it's junk. It's going in the garbage. This is all the stuff from the back end last night. It's all garbage. I don't need any of it. It's not really usable for anything. I kept the quarters because that metal's usable. But so what we're going to work on now. We're going to start from the dash, work our way down to the rockers, cut off the windshield. We'll cut off most of this up here because the actual firewall is right here, and I can unspot weld. I can drill out the spot welds and get this pretty much back to this point, and it'll be flat. Those will also be removed. Those are the mounting points for the fenders, the inner fenders. Oh, excuse me. And we'll start working our way through the wiring. Now, I know this is like my main power supply for my harness, so I know to keep that. I've had this car for a long time, but there are so many different plugs. I am labeling some of them. Like the whole ABS wiring is gone. I'm going to get rid of all that. It runs the frame up through here all the way to the front. That'll be deleted. To me, I know a lot of people are like, oh, if you can't use heat and AC in it, what's the point? I don't care about heat and AC. I can put an eBay heater in it and be fine with that. Don't care about AC. I don't even care about heat because I'm never going to drive these cars in the wintertime where it's cold enough to need heat. The Le Mans, I parked it as soon as it got below like 60 degrees outside. When it hit 60, I said, nope, park it. So this one will probably be, the same way. 60 degrees, park it. But I am amazed on how high this thing has lifted up after removing this weight. It is hilarious. So again, I'm going to get rid of this metal. Not going to film it. I'll put the camera back here, right here on this ledge, which is like perfect. Face it that way and just literally start stripping dash. So I'm going to try not to show you any crack or back or belly today, but we'll get into this because there's a lot. Keeping stereo harness, gauge harness, don't care about the heater, don't care about door harnesses. That stuff will all be getting eliminated from the harness. The main thing I want to keep is my power seat harness. I'm thinking about keeping the dome light harness to use as a power for the sliding top. On the Travelall, but it's, on the Travelall. A lot of this comes back, and that's my tail lights, my third brake light, which I don't need. I'm aware of. I don't think I'm going to add a third brake light anywhere. I could on the top of the Travelall, like above the door. One second. now that I've seen that, I sort of want to think about that one. So I might not delete it all the way. Let's go look. Yeah, it's been raining on and off, but we got a little bit of time before the rain comes. So again, travel all. Let's get back here. So I'll show you my idea for brake lights, because it definitely ain't going to be trailer lights. But, you know, I could put a third brake light back here. Something like that. I could. I'll look them up tonight, see if I can't find any universal setups. And we'll go from there. I don't want nothing too gaudy. You know what I mean? But, yeah. My buddy Scott, he found these little LED lights that go in there. And that's what I'm going to put in there, which is awesome because they actually have turn signals in them. It's a light on like running lights, and then your turn signals are amber. I was like, dude, freaking killed that. Awesome. I've been talking to some guys who actually have done a Caprice on a 60, and again, they love it. I'm like, 60, 56, I don't know how much wider they got. As far as measuring, now I measured this with the 20s on it, and it was like an inch still on each side. These are 18s, which I'm not keeping, but these are 18 by 8s. I had 18 by 10s on there, and it was still an inch, so we got room. Also, there's a company that makes a, what would you call it, a notch kit that notches your frame in the whole way and gives you an extra inch. And, buddy, I'm telling you right now, I would like that. Just for the simple fact that I could run even wider wheels on the back. Because a hot rod with like 12s or 15s, you know, that really, really deep look. Love it. But, let me clean out this garbage, start stripping the dash. So what I had found here is there is a piece right here that goes over top of the steering column. Now I'm going to try not to drop the steering column, so I'll cut here, and it's actually riveted on here so it holds the dash. So all I have to do is cut this bracket and that bracket right there, and the dash should come out then. This is the Buick Roadmaster harness that I had cut out of a Roadmaster and then wired it all to fit on here. And actually all them gauges worked, which is hilarious to me because that's the first time I've done anything like that. So it was sort of like a big victory for me. I was like, yeah. And now it's all coming out. But yeah, you can see it's still pretty sturdy because of this right here. You can see it in there. So I'm just going to use the cutoff wheel so that way I don't put the saws on there and cut through any wires. But once I get that, yeah, the fuse panel will stay by itself. So that's a good thing. But I'm going to cut that real quick. Well, I got the dash out of it. I sort of got fed up with all that plastic at the end there. It just wasn't cooperating, so, you know, when being gentle doesn't work, you work to force, so I forced it out of there. But there's a lot of wiring under here. Good thing is I can basically tell where everything goes. But the one thing I'm seeing right now is it goes all the way over, then back around, and then up again. Ridiculous. This I love. The little fuse panel that bolts on right there. Other ones are huge. I mean, huge blocks. This one, easy to put that anywhere. And everything's got so much wiring in right places. It's gonna be so easy to wire this thing again. Which it ain't gonna. It's gonna get like literally chopped and redone, all of it. Not completely redone, but a lot. So as you see, I already had a lot rewired or cut over here because I'm not going to need wipers or any of that stuff anymore. It's just, I don't understand. I worked on that Studebaker. It's the same way with that 94 S10. It had two different harnesses. It wrapped all the way around several times. It was stupid. This is going to be a lot easier because it's just a simpler. It don't have two harnesses. It's got one. The engine harness used to come out under the heater box here, but all that's coming out. I do see one thing that's going to be a little bit tricky, and that is where it mounts the actual steering column to the firewall. That's a big block right there. I mean, a big block. I'll have to figure that out. I might have to make my own sort of like mount to mount the steering column. But again, it's no big deal. I'm just going to continue on now and gutting this, the heater box. I'm going to label a lot of these because like all these are just vacuum. I don't need any of this vacuum stuff. That's all garbage. I'm not using any of that. What else is there? Anything that connects to the heater, I'll mark heater and it'll get eliminated. I'll cut it out of the harness. Same way with over here. I know what's the radio, and that's all I need. I need the radio, the steering column, and the fuse box. That's it. Well, the gauges too, but that's a different story until I know for sure that I can get the sponsor on board for the different setup. Then I'll have to hold on to that and make sure it stays in the loop. But again, this stuff, it's pretty much going to get gutted, thrown away. Yeah, I just don't want to hold it forever. And a lot of that stuff over there, if by time I'm basically got this one running, if that's still there, all that's going in the garbage. So we'll work forward through that. But for now, focus on this. Any of the wiring that's close to the outside here is going to definitely have to be moved inside. I don't know if I will, but I can sit and unpin most of the wiring out of this harness, and a lot of the stuff that comes over here will be gone because that's wipers, wiper switch, wiper motor, AC switch, all that, and I don't need it. So if I just eliminate it and trace it back, I can eliminate it out of the fuse box, out of here, less wiring, less, ugliness under the dash that I got to build in the treble. But I'm going to take a break and I'll get back to it. So some of this stuff I really have to figure out what it is. Like these, I have no clue what these are. But what's funny is they actually say Magnavox on them. So I can actually search for them, see what they do. They were under the dash. I have no clue. We'll figure that out. This has to get unbolted, and I can go through it and try to figure out what's what. There's my hot wire for my fuel, or my ignition switch or fuel pump one. But yeah, there's lots of stuff. And I've already been cutting stuff, of course, to make it work. Back when I did the LS, I can pull mostly all this stuff away. Yeah, zip ties. What we got over here. This is a relay. Don't know what that's for. I'd say it's probably for the heater. I'm trying to figure out where. Okay. So that goes up there. Is this heater box not bolted to anything? The screw going into there, but that's just holding the insulation on. So I really have to try to figure out where each individual thing goes. Like, I know these are all heater controls. I think that's my stereo. Yeah, there's a lot of different wires I can have to delete for sure. That one over there is my tack, that white wire. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go under here and try to figure out what everything goes to and what I can delete. I've got tape and a marker to where I can start taping stuff and marking, you know, delete. All these can be deleted. Well, they'll come off with the AC box when I can figure out how it comes off. But that's what I'm working on now. Start pulling this stuff out. Heat and AC box. So I got the heater box out, and what's funny is there was one bolt through. Was this another bolt that I couldn't see? Yeah, there's another bolt behind the intake I couldn't get to. And there was two bolts, or not two bolts, but two clips up here. But what I had just seen, it's just crazy. The door power harness, the power harness to the side, the back door, and the speaker wire is all here, right? It's all through this way, and it jumps across. So instead of taking it a short route and going from there to over to here, and then running it out the doors and down the track, GM in the 90s thought it'd be a better idea to run it down this side all the way across, split back up, split back down, and then go back to the back. A lot of wire they used. But I'm getting ready to basically delete all of that because I don't need any of it. I'll run new wires for my power windows on the Travelall, and I'll run them just up in the dash to make it cleaner. Just over here, you know, the door poppers and everything will be right off the here, instead of worrying about wires running through the floors, you know. But I just thought that was pretty funny that GM did that in the 90s. But again, I'm going to be deleting a lot of wires. I'm going to start pulling these back through. I don't think there's anything I need on them. I'm going to pull these wires back through too and tag them, make sure, you know, it says hot wire, which it's already basically ran through there. I just got to pull it back. This I just got to push in like that, pull it through. Those are already out, of course, and then I'll have a huge harness over that way. Yeah, a lot of harness in the body. Still don't know what those are yet. I'm gonna have to figure them out, the Motorola things, but we'll get to that. Alright, so the next step now is I need to figure out my cut. Now I believe I'll need to cut right through here, right through there along that line, which that is the steering column basically. But cut right through in this gap, come straight across to here, basically connect this line to that line, then the top here. So I want to cut this away slowly because, again, brake booster, top of the intake, all that stuff's there. So them slow cuts around, then let the windshield sort of lay down onto the steering. After I get the back cut, then cut anything underneath it away. It's a tough cut. There's a lot of cut there, but no big deal. So what I'm going to work on now is just massaging them cuts through. I'll probably grab some pliers and bend this up on both sides, get them out of my way, then put the saw back in through there. I hope it's hollow back through here. That's old sound deadener. Ew. But It appears hollow, so I'll use my cutoff wheel through right here on them two spots, make sure I don't cut into the brake booster or nothing. Don't want to be replacing that, and solves all the rest. So that's my plan for now. That thing's kind of stout. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to cut that at all. So let's get to it. Okay, so this cut is going to be very difficult. I cut a wedge out of here already. I was trying to figure out what is really holding it. I know what I got to do now. I'm going to have to lay up in here with the cutoff wheel and cut up under here all the way down. Yep, that's the only way that's going to come off of there the way I want. So I'm going to call it for tonight, and I'll work on that. I don't know, tomorrow. I'm supposed to go put some track bar bushings in on the C10, but they're giving snow and it's flooding and everything else, so we'll find out tomorrow if I get to come out here or not. So, but yeah, cut the back firewall. It might be easier to cut. Well, I already cut this through, but now I need to cut up in here, so I can't get it from out here. But I know what I got to do now. I just don't want to do it tonight, so we'll work on that tomorrow. Alright, I was doing a live today on TikTok. Got the windshield cut off. Got this front piece cut off. Again, I'll have to take my time and drill out all these spot welds. Pull this piece completely off. I'm a little out of breath because I hit some of that seam sealer, and it stuff kills me, like literally kills me. But it's going to be somewhat of a nice straight shot. Nothing too major. What I'm working on right now is I'm going to start taking some measurements, like from this lip right here to that lip over there, right here to right there on that pinch weld. And I want to see how much room I've got to play with, because the frame is literally right behind this rocker, so there's not a lot of room. Now, though the travel is wide, it might not be that wide. Worst case scenario is I'll have to like box my frame in by cutting down the whole side and then cutting it flat and then moving it in. I don't really want to be doing that. I would like to leave the frame whole as possible. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm just going to do some measurements, nothing special. So again, pinch welds to pinch welds, and see where I'm at on the Travelall and on this. So alright, so some good news, some bad news. The back of the Travelall, 61 inches. The back of the Caprice is 59. and that's to this pinch weld down at the bottom. So it gets wider as it goes, so it's going to be more than what I need. That's a good thing. The bad news, however, that front of the Travelall is 54 and mine is 62 and a half. Now that is 62 and a half to, I think it was this pinch weld, and it's got to be 54, and 54 is actually going to be about halfway in the middle of the frame. Now that's not a bad thing. It's easily fixed. I could probably shave or cut the corner off, leave the rib on the inside of the frame, and flip it inward and re-weld it, and that would box the frame right back in. It'd be no problem. But I will have to again remake the floor. The floor will have to come in. But these things can be deceiving until you actually get the body on, because you know you can sort of stretch that body open a little bit when you have no floor in it of the Travelall, and it won't hurt nothing. You can give it an extra inch or whatever, and it won't hurt it. But try to keep it all straight, you know. If I have to, I'll, you know, rechannel this frame from like right here. I'll get some C-channel and go that way with it until it reaches the back part of the frame right here. So that'll all get re-welded if I have to. No big deal. I knew it was coming. I'm not freaking out about it. I was like, hey, if I gotta do it, I gotta do it. But it'd be simple to do as long as I weld it first, the frame section, and then do my work afterwards, because it's just how it is. But no big deal. Again, I was prepared for that. I've done a lot of research on how big these frames are, the wheelbases and widths and everything. And check this out too, where this is actually skinnier in the rear. That means I can put wider tires on, which is awesome, because I would love to stuff some like 12s or 14s back there and have it look real deep Hot Wheels style, you know what I'm saying? But again, I was prepared for all of this. Now I don't know if there's anything that runs on either side that I got worried about. I know there's brake lines on this side. I'm not worried about it. I will definitely have to get some like 35 thousandths wire in the Hobart, because it is killer for framework. And then the Arc Captain is more or less what I'm using to do the entire rest of the body swap and custom mods, because that thing's going to be my sheet metal monster. That thing's going to be my frame monster. So, yep, I'm still there. I still know what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to, you know, assure myself I know what I'm doing. I'm just saying I know I was prepared. So we'll continue along with cutting the rockers and everything off. But I'm excited. The only thing I do know that I'm not 100% sure of yet is where the front end's gonna land as far as my gearbox. I'm hoping the front end's gonna land right up in front of it and I'll be cool. But if not, I'm gonna have to make up a good way to notch that core support for the Travelall, because I'm not gonna do any kind of, you know, I can't afford the rack and pinion conversion for this. I've already looked at them. They are way too much. They actually do make them, but again, way too much. But yep, it's a coming along. Got a lot of wiring to go through. I got to pull all of it off, and I'll go through it individually. And anything I have left over in the fuse box, I'll try to like leave a little bit with a crimped end on it to where I can know, hey, you've got accessories for other things. You know, because I'm planning on doing, like, you know, I need a stereo system put. I'm gonna, well, not put in here. I'm gonna put a stereo system in here. I got a couple ideas for that. I don't know how far back the floor is gonna come. I sort of kind of hope it's you know, right to where it's at right now, but I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere about right here, right below that hump. And I'll have to cut this, and I'll have to cut the frame. I'm not running front or back bumpers on that thing. I'm going to build a roll pan for the rear, and I'm going to build a, well, it's kind of got a roll pan on the front already, but I'm going to make it look sort of like the SS Silverado style. This I sort of need to keep and mold into the dash that I'm going to build, because this holds all of the steering column, which right now it's still pretty sturdy. So I want to keep as much of that on there as possible, which when I go to cut this off, all this structure is going to get, you know, weak. So I'm probably going to unbolt my column, unbolt my steering shaft, pull the entire column with the harness, well, not with the harness on it, but pull the entire harness, get that stuff out of the way. But know that I need to keep this and mold it into the dash for structural support of my steering. But that's also a good thing too, now that I know where my mounts are going to be, because I know my seats will mount still. I know my steering column ain't going to look goofy in it and all that stuff. So nice. What else do I need to do? Nothing right now. I'm going to take my brake booster off, but I'm not going to take like the lines and everything off. I already bled these. They already work good. There's no problem with them. I'm just going to leave them alone. I might take them off here and let that hang because that don't weigh nothing, and then pull this off completely to put to the side. Yeah. But still having fun at it. Not getting crazy. Not like, oh God, it's too small. No, I sort of knew all this stuff was coming, because the way the frames are, it goes straight, then hooks back in and goes up. So if you're ever building anything on a Caprice, if this was a 59 International, you wouldn't have a problem because they're square. The like the 56s, the cabs come straight and then they start rounding in. So you have to be prepared for that. I do know that if it's in the right spot, I can actually leave it and the frame will be like in the wheel well of the truck. But I'm trying to do better than that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, enough talking. Let's get back to work.